flag was huge. I mean, and you could not look at it during that week, during those days, without that visceral gut feeling that this is what we're about. This is, it's a very powerful symbol. It's a powerful symbol all over the world. But it's never so powerful, I think, as when this country is experiencing a tragedy.
Oh, beautiful for spacious
In a car, I remember thinking to myself, today is 911. That's our emergency number that you would call if there was an emergency nationwide. And I thought that was something that they thought of also. They had thought, you know, that to make it remember that that was the day that they struck the United States.
Look at this. This is that paper that day, and nothing had been known about it yet. They were worrying about this voting.
Filming this stuff. I don't want to film it.
Hurricane expected to stir up dangerous tides on Cape. How's that?
You, we would say, met that steel. You never really met it. Did you ever visit the Trade Center? I'm just curious.
Yeah, where?
Did you ever visit the Trade Center? Walk in them?
World Trade Center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was.
When you first met these towers that came up to me about that.
Yeah, that was an emotional trip too.
Dear Mr. President Bush, make sure this never happens again. Be a man and let our war dogs loose.
Are the killers, not Muslims, and that's something that we have to realize, that it was a faction of these people, not the people themselves, and not to spread hatred because we experience hatred.
Go buy Smiley Hill milk, dump the milk, and return.
But I look at these papers and I just get that hollow feeling. And we've got to stick together. We have to be Americans. And if it takes something like this to do it, that's not good. We need to do it by ourselves.
Too many people forget exactly how they felt that day, and this just brings back the feeling.
Where have all the young men gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young men gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone.
Every time any of our guys die, it's like Robert's death all over again. In the beginning, I would stand at attention when their names would be on the television news.
This is our way of grieving, is just coming to a quiet place and just being with nature, because Chris was an outdoor person. He was just a typical, happy. This is our way of grieving.
Many people will think that we do what we do because we support war, or we think we should be in Afghanistan and Iraq. We're not supporting war, but we very definitely are supporting the people who are willing to take the risks, to put their lives in this country on hold to go overseas.
I'm not saying that every war is wrong. I can't say that. I don't know. Looking back, though, the only one that I can think might have even been justifiable was World War II, as far as Hitler and the concentration camps. I did not feel this one was legitimate. I didn't feel Iraq was legitimate. I felt we were lied to. And I remember seeing them start to bomb, and I started crying. I was on duty at the time. I am a nurse.
A soldier is the first person to tell you they don't want to go to war because they don't want to die and they don't want to see their friends die, but they've taken that commitment to serve our nation. And without their sacrifice, we would not be free today. And I know that more than most.
It's been a big debate throughout the past decade is, can you support the troops and oppose the war? And I think that this country has come a long way in at least grappling with that issue.
Many people say that they don't support the war, but they do support our troops. I'm somewhat skeptical myself of those people. I don't think they do support the troops.
Robert definitely believed in what he was doing. He said, "Mom, we need to keep the bad guys over there. We don't want them walking on Main Street in America." And in the inscription that he wrote me in the book, he wrote, "Mom, some wars are worth fighting for. Some wars are justifiable." And of course, I felt that you have to do according to your own conscience. So he and I got along fine with the fact that we disagreed about the war.
For every bullet fired that has killed another human being in war, I hold my politicians liable, not my soldier. They did not, they did not make the decision for war. Once sent there and being fired upon, you cannot blame them for doing everything they have to do to survive.
On March 2nd, 2011, International Security Assistance Forces accidentally killed 9 civilians in Dari Heap.
Our soldiers take great pride in helping the Afghan National Security Forces to protect the people of Afghanistan. And many soldiers have lost their friends. Our soldiers take great pride in helping the Afghan National Security Forces to protect the people of Afghanistan. And many soldiers have lost their friends in this war.
You can't put men through those type things and expect they can come out totally with all their sanity sometimes.
Veterans for Peace and some of the other groups look at these things in their totality. And they look at the soldiers, but they also look at what we call, the collateral damage of war, which is a reality.
Yeah, there was one soldier, he was coming home and you could see he was just not handling it well. So I sat with him and he said, "I don't think I can forgive myself." And I said, "There's nothing here in this life that you can do that can't be forgiven." And I said, "And I assure you that whatever you did over there in war, you need to know you were at war, in war, a missed war. And you've got, whatever it is, you've got to, in time, forgive yourself."
I was not brought up Quaker, but I kind of wish I had been, and I kind of wish I had brought my boys up that way. Because I just can't, I can't even express it, but we've been lied to so many times. And it's so hard, but can the United States police every nation in the world?
We all wish that our nation could go through an extended period without war. Unfortunately, as you look back on our history, and I say this again in many of the speeches that I make, you know, my generation had its call to service, the 9/11 generation has had its call to service. Unfortunately, I believe my grandchildren's generation will also have their call to service. That seems to be the nature of the human species.
I had a friend who was my best man. He said, Memorial Day is a day when we should get rid of all our differences and just honor and remember people and remember the horror of war. And he was a Vietnam vet who took his life just 2 years ago now.
Come again no more.
We probably had no idea on the first that we'd go to 10 years, I don't think. But when we hit the 5th anniversary, we were hoping that by the 10th this would be over, really. And that maybe the 10th anniversary would be more of a celebration than a commemoration. But here we are. And it's a commemoration with the hopes of a celebration in the future.